Hi everybody, welcome back to Certified Kubernetes Administrator Series. In the last video, we learned about hostPath volume. You learned how hostPath volumes work and how that storage gets attached to the pod and how containers mount it. But today, we are talking about one of the most important Kubernetes volume types, emptyDir. And trust me, this one is incredibly easy to understand because it's basically temporary shared storage for a pod. Before we dive into how it's created, let's answer the big question first. Why do we even need an emptyDir volume? So this is because sometimes applications don't need permanent storage. They don't need long-term disks. They just need a temporary space to work. You may ask, why would an application want a temporary storage after all? That's a great question. Because real applications constantly create and use temporary data. They do it to handle things like caching temporary data, storing temporary log files briefly before another container or application processes them, or providing scratch space for calculations and intermediate steps within an algorithm. In these situations, the files themselves aren't meant to be permanent, so the storage doesn't need to be permanent either. Kubernetes simply creates a temporary workspace for the pod wherever it's running, just long enough for the job to get done. So the question becomes, where can containers store temporary data while they are running? That's exactly why emptyDir exists. emptyDir is a temporary storage space created for a pod. It is born when the pod starts and it dies when the pod dies. Not container, but pod. It dies when the pod dies. That distinction matters. Think of emptyDir like a class session happening across connected classrooms. The pod is the full class session itself. The containers are the classrooms participating in that class. And the emptyDir is the shared whiteboard being used during that class. While the class is happening, one classroom writes notes on the board. The board can be projected onto another classroom. That another classroom, which is a part of the same class session, can read the board. And everyone involved in that class can use the same whiteboard. Remember the read-only flag from the hostPath video? Yes, the same flag can be used here to make emptyDir volume read-only in the other class. Without the flag specifically mentioned, the other classroom can read and also write to it. Now here's the key. If one classroom becomes empty or one classroom temporarily stops functioning, the class session is still going. The whiteboard still exists. In Kubernetes terms, if one container crashes but the pod is still alive, emptyDir usually remains. When the entire class session ends, when the full pod is gone, the whiteboard is erased. emptyDir is pod life storage, not individual container life storage. Let's understand this with real-world example. Imagine a video editing application. It has one pod, but inside that pod, there are two containers. Container 1 provides the users a location to upload the video. The user uploads the video here. Container 2, this container picks up the uploaded video and processes those files to create the final result the user actually wants. Like in my case, I recorded this video, uploaded it into the editor, and then frame by frame processed and refined it to ultimately present you all with this tutorial. Let me know in the comment section how bad my editing skills are. So one container receives the video, that's the first classroom. Another container processes it, that's the second classroom. But both are a part of the same pod, the same class session, sharing the same storage where the video was uploaded, the whiteboard. The space is shared, but once processing is done, the user has downloaded the processed video on his laptop. You don't actually care about keeping the temporary processing files forever. Therefore, here emptyDir is perfect. This is your temporary shared storage. When the pod starts, Kubernetes creates a temporary storage for it. When containers inside that pod need it, they mount it. When one container crashes, the data may still remain because the pod still exists. But if the pod itself is deleted, everything is gone. So emptyDir survives container restart, but not pod deletion or pod crashes. Let's build one now. I have already created a YAML file for this named tempdir-pod.yaml. Let's look into it. Notice this, emptyDir, in brackets you have nothing. This means Kubernetes creates a brand new blank temporary folder. And notice there is no real permanent directory path defined here. Like we did in case of hostPath, here is the comparison. So no host folder, no node path like /data or /varlog, no dedicated storage location you choose. It's simply a temporary pod storage created dynamically for this particular pod. Let's create this pod. This pod has a container that runs the command echo hello Ravi and saves it into /cache/data.txt. This will write hello Ravi into the data.txt file under /cache. Let's go inside the container now and see if what I said is true. We will use the kubectl exec command to do it. Again, don't worry about the commands. You will find everything in kubernetes.io. All you need to do is just know what you need to do. Like in our case, we know that we have to enter a container. Notice I didn't mention the name of the container here. That is because the pod has only one container in it. So when you enter the pod, you are automatically going to land inside that container. Let's go to /cache to check the files on it. There, data.txt. Let's look inside it. See, hello Ravi here. Even though the /cache is not backed by any real storage, it can still hold the files in it. But only till the time the pod exists. When the pod is deleted or crashes, the data is gone with it. Because when the pod is deleted, the classroom session ends and the whiteboard is erased. In hostPath, you could go into the host machine and find the real folder backing that storage. But with emptyDir, you are not defining your own permanent host folder. It's temporary pod scope storage. So once the pod is gone, that temporary workspace is gone too. Let's understand it more cleanly with another example. Let's make it more powerful. One container writes, the other container reads what this container has written. Same pod, same whiteboard. This is where emptyDir becomes extremely practical. Let's understand this YAML first. Our pod is named shared emptyDir demo. It has an emptyDir volume named shared data. It has two containers, writer and reader. Container named writer creates a file named info.txt that has the contents Kubernetes rocks inside it. Container named reader has the same emptyDir volume mounted under the folder /shared. You can mount it anywhere inside the container too. You can mount it on var logs or /opt/shared. Anywhere, not just under /shared. I'm mounting it under /shared just for the sake of it. So container 2 reads the file info.txt from the shared folder. If we see Kubernetes rocks in the logs, it will prove that emptyDir volume is really shared between the two containers. And that is why one can write to it and another one can read from it. Let's go. This is where emptyDir becomes extremely practical. Container 1 generates the logs and container 2 consumes them. One classroom writes, the other classroom reads from it. Same pod, same class session, same whiteboard, which is your emptyDir, the temporary storage. Okay, enough of talking. Let's see it practically now. We will go into the writer container to check whether it created the file. And it did create the file. Now let's look into the logs of the writer container to see what's in the logs. There you go, Kubernetes rocks. That means the volume is shared. That means both these containers were able to read and write from the same volume at the same time. Let's talk about a real world scenario here. Imagine you have an application container. This is your main app, a website, an API, or maybe a payment processor. Its job is to run the application and continuously generate logs, access logs, error logs, transactions logs, whatever. So this first container keeps writing those logs into a shared emptyDir volume. But here's the thing. You may not want your main container wasting resources, compressing the logs, forwarding the logs, managing network delivery. That's where the second container comes in, a sidecar container. This second container watches the same shared emptyDir, picks up the new logs, and ships them to a remote logging platform. For example, Elasticsearch or Splunk. Simply put, container 1 writes logs to the shared log space, and container 2 reads the logs from the shared log space and sends them to a remote server. So both containers are working together. One generates the logs, the other one transports them without needing permanent storage inside the pod. Just a quick exam tip here. If the exam says share files between two containers, temporary data, or no node folder specified, think of emptyDir. And if the exam explicitly mentions a folder on the host, like temporary data or varlog, think of hostPath. Now by this point, you already understand emptyDir is a temporary space. Now ask yourself, would you store something mission critical on something designed to disappear? Would you store your company's banking database on a classroom's whiteboard? Obviously not, because the whiteboard is incredibly useful for temporary work, for collaboration, and for active processing, but not for anything you must protect long term. Therefore, emptyDir should only be used for shared pod workspace, temporary logs, scratch space, or cache. Final visual, hostPath, a basement storage room inside one specific building, fixed to that building using that building's local space only. And emptyDir, a shared classroom whiteboard during one active class session. One professor, one lesson, and the board can even be projected into an overflow classrooms so multiple rooms can see and use the same information. But when the entire class session ends, the whiteboard is wiped clean for everyone. That's it. So today, you learned emptyDir is temporary, it belongs to the pod, containers share it. One container failing does not automatically destroy the emptyDir volume because emptyDir is attached to the pod, not to the individual container. The container simply mounts and uses the shared space, so if one container crashes, it temporarily stops reading from or writing to it, but the emptyDir volume itself continues to exist as long as the pod is alive. That means whatever data was already written there before the containers crashed stays intact until the entire pod is deleted or terminated. It's ideal for temporary shared workloads. So now when you see emptyDir in YAML, you won't just memorize it. You will actually understand why Kubernetes created it. In the next video, we will level up again. Persistent volumes, popularly called PVs, where pods stop using temporary whiteboards or shared basement storage and starts accessing the real-world permanent storage. If this video genuinely helped Kubernetes feel simpler, if something finally clicked today, then do me one practical favor. Like this video so YouTube pushes it to more people struggling with the same concepts. Share it with your friends, teammates, or anyone preparing for CKA because sometimes one clear explanation can save hours of confusion. And subscribe if you don't want to miss the next part of this journey because we are building CKA mastery step by step together. Your support doesn't just grow the channel, it helps the community reach more learners who needs concepts made simple. See you in the next one.